Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Penelope and this channel is all things fashion, costumes, sewing, and anything clothing related in between. Now I have been in awe of the high fashion brand area for years. They create dazzling pieces, often with some form of rhinestone, which I can't afford. So I decided to DIY my favorite looks for you today, starting off with this bustier top and matching necklace. Now, the easiest way to start off this DIY is by having a top and mini skirt that you already like. Unfortunately, all I had was this long, ugly skirt, so I actually just decided to rework it into the items. I started off with this top and I created a pattern just by really quickly tracing it and cutting it all out with a little bit extra for seam allowance. Now, if you already have your own top and skirt, then I would just say, skip ahead a little bit. But if you're like me and you decided to do it the hard way, just follow all of the pattern pieces. Make sure you have every piece, giving yourself seam allowance. This was actually my first time using these clips. I had seen them originally on TikTok and a lot of people were using them, and it was really nice to grip all the fabric and keep everything in place. Since the fabric was so dense and it was knitted, the pins would have just fallen through. Once I had sewn down all of the pieces and the top was put together, I measured the straps and I sewed this 6mm rhinestone trim that I had gotten from Amazon. And I then hand sewed underneath the outline of the bust. And as you can see, this middle part that's raised up and an upside down U was actually glued together by E6000 before I sewed it on, so that it really held its shape, and as you can see, it doesn't flop around or move. Now onto the necklace. I started off with the black choker and I alternated between one single gem and 12 gems in a line, and I glued them as spaced evenly as possible. Honestly, you can't really tell that it's not perfect, but I tried my best, especially with how easily they moved around. Now onto the fall 2020 rhinestone butterfly skirt. I absolutely adored this and I wanted to do the top, but I thought I would just start off with the skirt so as not to overwork myself. And I started out with a pattern of a butterfly that I really liked and that I thought would work well, just to give myself something to outline, and I used chalk on the fabric since it was so dark. And I just top stitched a zigzag of the outline and then hand stitched the rhinestones on top of that zigzag stitch. As you can see, it did take me a while, but the zigzag stitch helped to ground the rhinestones so they weren't moving around or losing the shape. And then I just cut the shape out so that there was the negative effect. And it's really important that you do top stitch a zigzag. Otherwise, with this knit material in particular, I had to use Fray Check so that it wouldn't fall apart. But if you're using another fabric that doesn't quite fall apart as easily, then maybe it's not as necessary. So once you've done all of the Fray Check, you're going to use your E6000 glue to glue the design that you want within the butterfly, segment by segment. It's a lot easier in segments to then glue the segments together than it is to do it all at the same time. I learned that the hard way, and it does take a while to cure this glue, so you do have to be patient, but in the end, it comes out beautifully. Spring Summer 2020 nameplate blazer. Now this is obviously the easiest project for me because I already had a blazer that I really liked. But all you really need is thread and a hand sewing needle and then necklaces. I took apart this layered necklace to use as fillers between the nameplate necklaces that I had. And this isn't as necessary if you have a boatload of nameplate necklaces, but I didn't. So this really helped fill in the gaps, and I really just hand sewed the ends of the necklaces to the blazer, and that was it. It was really simple. And here's the final results. Watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got a little bit of DIY inspiration. I have loved watching Fashion Month. Every designer has been doing things on their own schedule, their own time, and I kind of love it. Yeah, I'm excited to have all this inspiration, and I'm excited